All right, guys, so today we're going to be going over intermittent fasting. I'm going to share with you all the information that I accumulated doing my research and kind of what ultimately led me to trying it and applying it to my life. So let's start with the basics. Intermittent fasting, what is it? It is essentially just timed eating. It's a schedule throughout the week or the day where you are fasting and not fasting. During intermittent fasting, diet does not change. And I think a lot of people get this mixed up because of all the fat loss success stories that are linked to intermittent fasting. But intermittent fasting is not a diet itself. If you are eating 2,200 calories and you switch to intermittent fasting, you're still eating 2,200 calories. It's just in a smaller time frame. With that, there are actually some benefits from fasting itself. Lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol, lower risk of heart disease, and then it actually promotes deconstruction and reconstruction of cells, which is linked to anti-aging. And I'm sure you guys have heard different religions and cultures using fasting as a celebration or as an act of discipline or sacrifice. So there are definitely some really good benefits for it, and it's not only practiced in this new fad trend that we have going called intermittent fasting. It's actually been around for years and years and years. So with that, I do want to cross over to fat burn when it comes to intermittent fasting, and this is definitely one of the biggest controversial topics when it comes to intermittent fasting. When you are fasting, just like fasted cardio, whether you're exercising or just going about your day fasted, you are going to burn more fat. You're going to use more of the fat stored as energy and essentially burning more fat. This is because you don't have any immediate carbs or fats, for energy, and you didn't eat anything, so your body's going to dip into your fat stores. So yes, intermittent fasting will cause you to burn more fat while you're fasting. But what it doesn't do is actually make you lose more fat. It does not increase fat loss, because we know the only thing that causes you to lose fat is being in a caloric deficit. So if you're intermittent fasting and you're in a caloric deficit, hell yeah, you're going to burn fat and lose it. But if you are just intermittent fasting, yes, you're going to burn fat and you're going to utilize fat more for energy, but it's not going to be lost, because once you eat, let's say you didn't eat until 12 p.m. And you just went about your whole day. So up until, if you woke up at 6 a.m., from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., you are going to be digging into your fat stores and burning fat. But once you eat that meal at 12 p.m., whatever fat it has in it, your body's going to be like, oh, hey, we just spent all morning digging into our fat stores and burning a bunch of fat. So once you eat that fat, it's going to hold on to that fat and whatever other energy source you ate, carbs, it's going to utilize that and burn that for the rest of the day and hold on to the fat that you have, because our bodies are definitely like the best, most efficient adapters in the whole world, and our bodies are just so smart in itself. So it's not going to let you burn up all that fat when you have carbs to use. So yes, you will burn more fat. No, you will not lose more fat just by switching over to intermittent fasting. So if you're not losing more fat, then why do it? Why intermittent fast? And this is where the biggest piece of information comes in. I think a lot of people miss this when they're, deciding whether or not to try it. Intermittent fasting only works if it works for you. Like, dead ass. I know that's like so basic, but that it means exactly what it sounds like. If you have a busy schedule or you're prone to overeating, intermittent fasting might be a great tool for you. For example, I tried to put myself in a deficit back in December, and it went pretty well for the first few weeks. I was definitely seeing some fat loss. I was seeing my body tighten up, and then I decided, I didn't decide to. I actually just started hitting a wall. And I couldn't really understand, but I kept trying to do it, and I kept, a few weeks later, I just started to realize that it was so hard for me to eat smaller meals throughout the day. Instead of having like 3 or 4 big ones, I was having like 6 or 7 small ones. And I just never felt full or satisfied. And that always caused me to overeat at night because I love having a big meal at night, and I would eat like most of my calories in the morning and have like 300 calories left to eat at night. And that just doesn't work for me. So that is why I started looking into intermittent fasting, because a lot of the success stories are from people who have big appetites just like I do. And so when I started doing it, I actually picked the 12-8 ratio, where I'm fasting for 12 hours and eating for 8. And I thought this was like so beneficial to me because I realized I could eat 3 ginormous meals. I mean like 5 to 600 calorie meals, and I would be so full, and it's just working so well for me. And then also, if you have a busy schedule, I know I just went on a tangent there, but if you have a busy schedule, if you're somebody who owns a business or is just like a business person and just works crazy hours, or is literally just working so hard all day that you can't even stop to eat, or you just rather get your work done before you ate, intermittent fasting might be a great tool for you. Just because it'll give you that smaller time frame at the end of the day when you do have the time to sit down and eat, to get all those calories in. And I know that sounds crazy, like getting 2,000 calories in a 8-hour or less window, but it's really not as crazy as it sounds, especially if you have a big appetite. And I will say there have been plenty of studies that show that it doesn't really matter what time you get your calories in. You can still hit your goals, you can still gain muscle, you can still lose weight, eating all your calories in literally 4 fucking hours. There is one substrate that has proven to be more anabolic when eaten throughout the day, and that's protein. And I wouldn't say throughout the day, but there's one study that showed they gave a half of the study 3 meals throughout the day with the same amount of protein, and then they gave one group like 1 meal all day with all their protein in it, and the other team, I believe, had more of a response when it came to muscle gain. But once again, if you're not eating protein throughout the day, it's not like you're gonna lose muscle. You're not gonna fuck up your whole entire progress and results and anything like that. And that's why intermittent fasting has been such a big fad lately, because there are a lot of people out there who realize that it's really just, finding what works with your schedule. And if this is something that works with your schedule, utilize it. It's not bad to be fasting. Fasting is not unhealthy. There are actually numerous, and this is just a few, I just named a few. There are so many benefits when it comes to fasting that I think would be really beneficial for a lot of people. And yeah, but once again, if you can get through your day and you can be in a deficit, a surplus, maintain, and you never have any issues going over your calories or getting your meals in, fuck intermittent fasting. It is not for you. If you can do it and you can get through it, you don't need anything else. You just need to find what works for you, and if you have something that works for you, don't switch it. Oh, Odie, you see a little doggo out there, huh? Oh, what's on your stomach? You want to say hi? You want to say hi to the camera? Hey. Okay. All right. Well, that is about it for the intermittent fasting portion of things. Let's jump over into my full day of eating. Okay, so for my first meal, I have about a little over a cup of raw broccoli, 3 ounces of shredded chicken that I made myself. That just came out of this giant bowl. Just finished the last little bit. It would be 4 ounces, but I only had 3 left, so we're just gonna have to make do. But that's okay, because I have this kick-ass protein pasta, and I believe that's about 9 ounces of that. And then I have an ounce of Classico, Alfredo sauce mixed with cayenne pepper and crushed red pepper, oh my gosh, for some spice and some kick. Austin and I make this like 3 times a week for dinner because we love it so much. So this is all just saved from my meal prep previously. Oh, and just so you know, you can go to the store and get these giant bags of broccoli florets, and they're already like cut and washed and fucking ready to go for you. So they're a little bit more expensive, but we live in a world where you don't have to fucking wash your own veggies, and that is just a beautiful thing. So I'm gonna microwave this and probably add a little bit more Alfredo sauce and then heat it up, eat it, and then I will show you the macros and calorie breakdown. Look at how delicious that looks. I'm so ready to eat this. Okay, so that first meal had 456 calories, 44 grams protein, 57 carbs, and 10 grams of fat. And that's normally how big my meals are. I try to keep them like 4 to 550 calories, and I have about 3 of them and a few snacks, and that usually gets me to my 1,800 calorie goal. 1,800 calories is not my maintenance. I am in a deficit right now trying to cut. I'm usually at about 2,000 to 2,200, so yeah. I'm actually going to chill for a little bit. It's 2 o'clock now. I ate at like 1:10, so it's been almost an hour. I'm just gonna take the dogs for a walk and answer some emails, and then I'm gonna go to the gym probably around 3 o'clock. I actually made the mistake of going to the gym like immediately after I ate my first meal. And I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but I felt that my first meal should have been digested and I should have had another one before I went to go exercise, because since I've been fasting all day, those nutrients from that food my body was like really needing. So I felt like if I ate my first meal and went straight to the gym, all those nutrients are going straight to my muscles, whereas I need them for like my brain and my other organs that keep me feeling good. So yeah, I usually try to wait like 2 hours after my first meal, get another snack in, and then I go to the gym. Oh my god, okay. I just killed the shoulder workout, and I was actually trying to eat before I got to the gym, but my mom called. You know how that goes, just get carried away. So we talked for like an hour and a half. So I brought a Cliff Bar with me, but I never ate it. And now I just kind of want to go home and eat an actual meal. So I'm going to go home and do that. And I'll show you what it is. I'm like sweating. It's getting so hot in Arizona, and it's only, I guess it's really getting there. It's like mid-April. It's getting fucking hot, dude. And we are done. Look at that. Mayo, red onion, 96% lean beef patty with a slice of thin pepper jack cheese, some clover sprouts, and then about a tablespoon of guacamole salsa. So good. So it's done, boys. Okay, so that meal was 392 calories, and that put me right at 848 calories, 76 protein, 87 carbs, and 27 grams of fat. And as I said, I usually get that snack in before the gym, but mom called. So I'd normally be at like 1,000 or 1,100 by now. But since I didn't have that, I am a little bit lower. So I think I'm actually gonna go ahead and eat that Cliff Bar, so that'll put me right at about 1,100. Because I definitely am a little bit low on carbs right now. And who doesn't like a good old meal of carbs, you know what I mean? Okay, hey guys, I am just jumping into the car to go to the dispensary. I didn't have a Cliff Bar, but I'm having half of a bagel with some jalapeno cream cheese on it. I'm gonna go pick up some weed and have myself a good old night. Okay, so for my last and final meal, it's 8:50. I'm pushing it here on my fasting break. But I have vegan sausage. It's like Italian flavor. And then Annie's white cheddar macaroni and cheese with like a cup of broccoli under my heaping pile of mac and cheese. And of course some red pepper flakes for some spice. Okay, so after that final meal, I actually got pretty darn close to exactly 1,800 calories, but I got 1,799, 132 grams of protein, 223 grams of carbs, and 51 grams of fat. So I think I'm gonna stop there tonight. My eating window closes in 2 minutes.
Bah!
I was hoping to have an ice cream, so I might eat that in like 10 minutes and then just like be like 10 minutes over my window.
Baby.
What, sweetie?
Can we get some ice cream? No?
We have some in the freezer.
Okay.
So yeah, probably gonna eat some of that and then hit the hay. Okay, so I didn't end up eating my ice cream or anything last night. I just stopped right where I was at. So that was actually like one of the most perfect calorie macro days I've ever had. Probably just because of this video, but honestly, I do get pretty close, like give or take, my carbs and fats, just because those are the two that I don't really focus on the most. I just focus on getting my calories consistent and hitting my protein goal. So yeah, thanks for watching my intermittent fasting full day of eating and basic info video. I hope you learned something. Subscribe if you enjoyed it, because more videos are coming. Okay, so I'm sitting down and editing this video right now, and I just wanted to hop in real quick and say I've been doing intermittent fasting for a month now. I started on the 25th of March and it's the 26th of April, so it has definitely been a good solid month. And I just want to kind of go over the things that I've really been loving about it. First and foremost, obviously the way that it works with my schedule. I get up early in the morning to go train clients, so it's really nice to not have to eat like right before I go. Don't have to bring any meals to the gym with me. I usually get off around noon or 1, and then I come home and I'm ready for my first meal, and I absolutely love it. I love being able to sit at the gym all day thinking about what my first meal is going to be, and I get like so excited about it. I'm like, yes, dude, I have this perfect plan of this perfect meal. I'll even stop at the store to get exactly what I need to make exactly what I want. And yeah, it's just really nice. Definitely the convenience of it is great. And then on top of that, obviously I have been being able to meet my deficit much easier, and that's ultimately what made me start doing this, was because I was having a very hard time staying in my deficit that I put myself in, but now I'm starting to see the results that I was hoping to see, so it's really cool to know that this tool does work for me, and it's been really useful so far anyway. So other than that, I did notice definitely the first 2 weeks bloating went down severely. I don't know if that's just because I wasn't overeating, or I don't know, or just the fasting aspect where I'm not, because I will say the first few nights I was bloated going to bed, but I woke up flat stomach, feeling really good, so it might just be the fasting aspect of it, but I haven't felt bloated in so long. I just feel tighter and better. My weight has actually been staying the same. I'm still a little confused on why that is. It could be because I've given myself a few refeeds, so I don't stay completely in a deficit, but I definitely feel like I look a lot leaner and tighter than I did when I first started. So that's all I'm looking for, and I feel better. And yeah, other than that, I know there are a bunch of other benefits to fasting, and I went over a few of them in the video, but I'm not really, experiencing any of that, except for during fasted periods, you're supposed to feel a lot more focused. And I will say I definitely feel much more aware and into whatever I'm soon to be doing, whether it's making a program or physically training a client. But yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there. I am gonna include a before and after photo of when I started to now, and all that good stuff. So hey, Diva. Oh, you're gonna walk away? Okay. Oh, hey, Odie. All right. Well, thanks again so much for watching. I do hope you learned something, and I will see you next time. Bye, Odie. Bye, Odie.